Attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon. This is Ron. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, all right, good. Today I'm going to talk about what the latest files, or one of the latest files that's in the Insider Club files, and also I want to take a quick look at the market. We had a big day today, and I want to talk about some of the ways I use HGSI to analyze the market. And then I'm going to get into some filter and combo construction. I'm not going to have time to do much on that, but I'm going to take you through some steps and show you what I did, and I have provided you with the information down here. This is the finished filter that I came up with, and I'll explain this as I go along. And this is a combo that I attached to it. I want to close my email so that doesn't distract me. And some other things here. Okay, so I'm going to get into that, and let's go ahead and get started. Right now I have done an update with the end of day, not the end of day data, but the intraday data. I did it at 3:16 my time, so this includes the indexes as they are right now. And the indexes that I'm using are in, first of all, the indexes are in my broad market indices folder under the Woodward and Brown user groups. This is primarily where I do my market analysis, or a lot of it, because these indexes can be built by HGSI both end of day and intraday. And I have all the information I need right here to get a good feel for the market. So, by the way, this PDF that I just showed you, it's available for download by clicking on it in the box that you have there, the go to a webinar box. So let's take a look at the market today. This is sorted on raw combo, and the combo that I use here is something that I call strong trends up. I'll take a quick look at this combo, and what it does is it weights the trends evenly that I use for my fan formation, the 50, the 18, the 100, and the 200, and they're all weighted at 25%. And what that does is it brings the indexes, which are created by HGSI, to the top of the list that have the strongest trends. And you can see that the materials index shot up rapidly today based upon this, even though it has de-accumulation. Now, why is that? Because there was a lot of money flowing into this index today. Let me just bring up a chart here. And you can see that there is a big move right here with a pocket pivot and an effort to rise flag. This is a group that has been beaten down for the past 2 weeks or so. Notice that it went from A accumulation to B to C, and then it went to D, and it stayed there. And because it had this big up day today, that has not really yet registered on the accumulation. But I can tell that it was a big move just because of the combo rank moving it towards the top of the list. Now, what is still weak is the energy index. It's down at the bottom, but it too moved up sharply today. Did not generate a pocket pivot, but you can see that the candle did move up, and it moved from E distribution to D distribution. So we're starting to see a little bit of movement in here, but this was a market day where a lot of things moved. Fred, I'm not going to answer a lot of questions right now, but you'll find a chart in there, And well, let me see if I can pull it up quickly. I've got a lot to cover, so I'm not going to take a lot of questions. Impulse reaction charts. Go to impulse reaction charts, click on the VPA trends, and they are right here, and this explains what they are. Short-term trend is 3 periods of a 5-day moving average, and that is represented by the dotted line. The medium term, it tells you right here, and the long-term trends. When these go from pink or rose to green, they are changing, okay? Anyway, let me get back to some other charts. I've added a few charts for you. Those of you who belong to the Insider Club, I'm in the webinar series material. Let me get to the Insider Club. I added a few charts today. The top-down charts. I added this one yesterday. If you go in and update the add-on, this chart was in there yesterday. This is a new high-low line, a cumulative line. And until you see that line really breaking down like it did back here, well, this is only 2 years. When you see it starting to roll over, then you've got something to worry about. But look how the new highs versus lows on the SOX have been positive for months now. This has been one of the strongest groups, as has the technology index. Another chart that I put in here for you is this accumulation distribution chart. It was in another folder, but I think it is a very relevant chart to have. And what this chart is set up as is a trend chart. So whenever the trend changes color, then you know that it is shifting around. And to find out what the trend is at any time, just look at over here at this best fit line. Everything is up now on the technology index. It turned green. Now yesterday it was blue because the medium-term trend was down. The long was up, the short was up, medium was down, so it was this blue color. Okay, so you can just look at this and you can tell what the trend was. These areas up here are, these 3 windows are related to the accumulation index. When you see the Chaikin positive and the velocity and the accumulation up near the top, the accumulation is the green line. This indicates that there is strong accumulation going on. These green bars right here I put in when the accumulation and the velocity is both going up. It's going to generate a green line, and you can see with this technology index that this has been under accumulation for quite some time, and it hasn't been offset by a rose line. So strong accumulation in this group. This, Fred, I'm directing this to you. This is why you sent that chart and posted it on the bulletin board. You look at that NYA chart with the divergences. That's totally worthless information in my opinion, because you would be looking at that chart and you would say this market is going to roll over, or it's rolling over. It just isn't happening. You need to come in and look at these individual indexes and see where the strength is. Where has the strength been? It's been in the SOX, technology, and primarily in the NASDAQ 100. Look at this chart. It's tremendous. Now, the NYSE had a, well, let's look at all securities instead. Yes, it went from A to B to C to D, and then today it jumped back up to C. So yes, it rolled over a little bit, but what we're doing when we look for market analysis, we are looking at different sectors and different indexes. You can't just look at one index like the NYA, which contains a bunch of securities that you won't even recognize and use that for your market timing. It just doesn't mean anything. Okay, so let's you can see where the strength is. The weakness has been down here towards the bottom. These are all relative based upon the combo. This when you sort on raw combo, these numbers, the higher numbers are at the top and the lower numbers are at the bottom. So this gives you a good feel. Now I want to bring this in. This was yesterday. I captured this before I updated today. You can see all of these VPA short-term trends. Most of them were down. And, well, I wasn't sorted on raw combo here, unfortunately. But you can see that they were down. Now look at today, and you can see that the majority of them are up. So we had a really strong shift in the market today, short term. And then the next view that I go down to is my demand supply view. This is using a different combo, and this is the same view that I use, or the same combo, I'm sorry, that I use for the scorecard. So this is, I'm sorry, I need to go back to number 2. This tells me the NASDAQ 100 was strong today based upon the demand combo. And if I want to see where the strength was, all I do is change to the index group, and then I go down to the scorecard and sort on this. It tells me that Celgene was one of the strongest stocks today, followed by INCY, AMAT, and then NVIDIA. So let's just look at this. Look at Celgene today. Nice move up. Accumulation is strong. This one too. This one's been strong for quite some time now, and it just continues to go. So it's just a matter of looking at these indexes, seeing where the strength is, and then you can go top down. Yes, a lot of them are gone already, but a lot of them that appear to be gone, like INCY, that looked like it was overextended some time back, and it just keeps going up. So this is the best way, in my opinion, to analyze. Now, if I sort on advancing issues versus declining issues, look where the advancers dominated today, utilities and defensive. Utilities primarily, probably because of the slight rate increase, so those are yielding stocks primarily. You get all this information just by looking at these indexes, okay? I don't think you really need much more. Yes, I'll look at the NASDAQ, I'll look at the NYA occasionally. I mean, I'll look at the NASDAQ, the NDX, but I do primarily do my analysis right here because HGSI is the only program that I know of that you can look at the indexes which are built from the stocks which are in those indexes. It gives us much more insight into what's really going on. Okay, I don't want to spend any more time on that. I want to move on. I'm going to go to all securities by clicking on my alternate space bar, and then I'm going to, I may have to refer to my notes if I can't remember all of my steps here. I'll just put it in my other window here. Okay, this is a counter trend view that I came up with. What I do is I make a group I go into my daily scans, I go into folder number 6, wrong view. I go to view number 7. This captures all of the stocks which are in the fan formation. The fan formation is, well, I'll show it to you. Most of you know what it is by now, but it's the 18 above the 50 above the 100 and above the 200, and these are all exponential moving averages. So I'm going to make a group out of this. I'll just go under my file menu, and I'll make a group from the list, and what's the date today? The 15th, okay, 2017, 0315, fan fan formations. There's 1,457 of them. So it's going to make the group. I do not need to generate an index for this. And now I'm going to go down to the next folder, and I'm clicking on number 5. So as of today, at the close of the market, these stocks, 157 of the stocks, are in a major fan formation or a bullish fan formation, but yet they are exhibiting a counter trend. And that counter trend, I made it like this. First of all, there has to be a VPA flag. So if any of these bullish VPA flags occur and the fan trend is up, that is yes. And there is a days down since the 3 crossed the 6 exponential moving averages. That's what I'm looking for with a fan trend. So let's just take a look at some of these. Now you can see that a lot of these are up today. In fact, most of them were up as I scroll down this list. There are only a few that weren't, so let's just take a look at Tower Semiconductor. Now I'm going to go to a different chart. This is another chart that I put in. Well, I'm looking for my relatives. I put a 1A chart in for you today. This is one of my favorite charts because I like to use it for relative strength comparison. What this does, here, first of all, here's the fan. You can see that this stock had pulled back, and if I put a different chart on showing the 3 and the 6, you'll see that it had pulled back, and it's still below the 3 and the 6. It has not crossed up yet. But here's your bullish flag for today. It's an effort to rise, and there is a pocket pivot. Now these lines up here, they all tell a story. This shows what the SPX and the NASDAQ did today. It's just a line chart. This shows me the strength versus the industry group is the blue line, and there's no current group in here. So anyway, it's underperforming its industry group. It's underperformed the SPX, and it's underperformed the NASDAQ. But notice that it's turning up today, and the force indexes both went positive. So this is the kind of setup that I'm looking for with this counter trend. NRG Energy, I mentioned this the other day in a webinar that I had. It looked like it was going to go, but it's still trapped in this area. Look at the group. The group has been weak, and the group, it really needs a boost from the group. But if you look up here, you can see too that it's turning back up on the performance. Now it is outperforming its group. It's a small group because this line has been going up. Let's look at Univar. Here's another one. These all have VPA flags today. You can see that this one's been underperforming its user group. But you can see also here on this chart that there are 4 primarily bullish candles. I consider this a bullish candle also because it closed in the upper part of its trading range after a shakeout yesterday on a weak day. Okay, so let's just take a look at some stocks that I put in. Well, actually, let me just bring up Thinkorswim here. It's easier. This is a list of stocks that I put in my list this morning for counter trend stocks. I thought they were interesting, and they exhibited the characteristics. Now, I just happen to have the 3 and the 6 right here, and this is the 18. So yesterday the 3 had not crossed above the 6, but today it crossed above the 6. So this one will not be showing up in the counter trend today. Now VALE, V-A-L-E, was up 8.32% today. So that was the best performer out of the group. Notice that there was a VPA signal here, so it met all the requirements. If I scroll over one window, maybe it's, here is the long-term fan that I was talking about. The 18 is above the 50, is above the 100, is above the 200. So this qualifies. This was a counter trend stock, and it just happened to take off today. CDW, this was a counter trend stock too, because yesterday the 3 had not crossed back up above the 6, but it did today. Now this is a nice tight formation for a counter trend stock. It still has to get past resistance here, but this is what I'm looking for. Now let's look at this one, another one. You can see the 3 crossed above the 6 again today, but until then it was a counter trend stock. TGH, same thing. The 3 looks like it crossed above the 6 today. Once again, a counter trend stock. Cisco, pretty flat stock, but the 3 was below the 6. Looks like it's crossing over today. GWB, this one had a good morning and then it fell back. And this is kind of a loose, sloppy chart. I'm not quite sure why I put it in there. I guess because it exhibited some of the things I was looking for, but I really don't like sloppy charts like this. Now, here's American Express. This started the morning very strong. You can see that it opened up here and it closed down here. So it did not hold on to its gains. So if I would have bought that one this morning, I would have a loser in my hands here. But still, it is above support, and it will show up as a counter trend stock again today. USB, now another one that had a good fast start early this morning, and then it failed as the day went along. BXS, same thing, same story. This is another fairly loose chart. I did like it here as it tightened up and moved up, then it got sloppy again. And CVFB, same thing, moved up sharply early and then failed. But every one of these are examples of stocks that turned up this morning with that counter trend view. So it's certainly worth looking at if you're looking for pullbacks. Now, I know a lot of people that are trading just like to buy strength, but I think it makes a lot of sense to keep these stocks in mind, because you'll catch some of these stocks as they're coming back up. Okay? Now, let me see let's get into the filter construction. This will probably take me a while. First of all, any questions about that counter trend before I move on? It's all there on the PDF file, how to do it. If you're not a member of the Insider Club, to get these files that I'm constantly working on, you can join. And you can either try it for a month for 25 bucks, or if you want a big discount, you can do it for the year for $200. Thanks, George. Okay, let's move on here. I know a lot of you are interested in filter building, and it can be a complex subject, or it can be relatively easy. Depends on how much experience you have at it. But I'm going to go down here to my user views, and I have something here for the roundtable today. And I will go ahead and reconstruct this probably, if I have time, show you how I did it. But on that PDF file, all of the fields that I ended up using are there in the file for you, so you can do this yourself. I want you to build the filter yourself rather than having me just send it to you, because it makes more sense if you do it yourself. So let's, I'll open this up and notice that I am in the user filter or user area for both the filter and the combo and for the view. When you're working on your material, you need to be working in the user folders. Or if you modify something of mine, you should drag it down to the user folders, because it'll never be overwritten. And after you do your work, make sure you back up the data. I've backed up. I made so many changes today, just fixing things. I backed up 3 times intraday today, because I want to make sure that I always have the latest. And I just want to. It's just a habit I've gotten into. It takes a few seconds, and you should do the same thing. George, Paula can't open that PDF for some reason. He'll get it to you, Paula. If not, send it to me, a note to me, and I'll send it to you. Okay, let's just look at the filter. This is what I came up with. First of all, I stated that I wanted to locate stocks in a fan uptrend, which are outperforming their industry groups by 1% over the past 5 days. Because I want to catch some leaders here. And I'm just going to work backwards here and then rebuild this. You can see that I always click on the preview button. And the reason you want to do this is because as you add fields, it is going to put that information here in a column. Now, Matt put this in years ago. And it is a way to make sure that you are getting your logic correct when you're building a filter. So always have this open. Now, I guess I didn't need to do all that for you. I'm just showing you that all the columns are in here. Now I'm going to start deleting these columns, and then I'm going to put them back in. You can see that they're disappearing down below too. Okay, by the way, if you want to experiment with some fields but you don't want to take them all out, just click on cancel and the fields will be there. Now I'm going to have to delete all those again, aren't I? It's all right, I should have started at the top anyway. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to put pocket pivots in here. Now the thing is, and it's confusing to a lot of people, is that you are not going to find the term pocket pivots when you start looking at these fields. It's the percent, and by the way, Matt put these search fields in a while back and they're great. Percent volume divided by the previous 5-day down volume is greater than 0. That is a 5-day pocket pivot. So you're looking for positive volume that is greater than the volume the previous 5 days, or the previous 4 days, 5 days counting the current day. And then if I click on preview, you can see that these have greater volume. Well, this is a rounding, but everything above that has greater volume than the previous 5-day down volume. Now let's add the next one. But I have to use a or statement here, because when Gil and Chris Kasher came up with their pocket pivot idea, they only used a 10-day. And then they decided they wanted a 5-day also. So I'm starting with the 5 and I'm going to add the 10. So I'll click on this. And once again, I'm going to type in percent VOL front slash, and I'm going to use the previous 10-day down volume greater than 0. So notice that on the 5 column that a lot of these are empty, but on the 10 column they're populated. Not all of them, because there's 4 over here. These must be IPOs. That we have the 5-day volume or 5-day pocket pivot, and then we don't have a 10-day pocket pivot. So this is why you use this preview. Now I'm going to continue to build this. I'm going to put some, I want the last close. I'll just make it $5 and above. Whoops, what did I do there? Greater than 5. And I'm doing a search for 50 DEMA volume. I want this greater than or equal to 5. Not that it really matters. I'll make this 500,000, 500,000. So you can see that as I'm building this number gets much smaller because I'm eliminating a bunch of stocks. You can see that if I sort on the 50-day moving average volume, that's 95 million on Bank America, and ACI worldwide has 500,000. My minimums, the highest is Amazon at 852, and the lowest is Acura Incorporated at $5. This is, like I keep repeating myself, this is why you want to use this preview window. It's great for building filters. Okay, the next one. I'm going to put group rank in here. Why? Because I want these assigned to a group. So I just greater than 0. And that puts a group rank in. I want to make sure that I have my wolf pack stocks or only stocks that are assigned to groups. The next field is going to be the fan. And you can put these in any way you want to. I just kind of built this at random. EMA fan uptrend equals yes. And if I look at this column right here, you can see that everything's yes, and we're down to 371 securities at this point. The next field is, I said I wanted the industry percentage price change or the stock to outperform the group by 1% over the last 5 days. So I'm going to put industry percent. I didn't want to use 1 day. I wanted to use 5-day to give me a little more lead time here. Okay. And what are we down to? 363 now. And why can't I get that to go back over? I'm just going to click on OK and then edit it again. And the last is percentage price change 5-day. Is greater than or greater than 1%. Preview. So we're down to 223 securities that match this filter. So I'm just going to click on OK. And next, I built a combo which I attached to this. And I'll open this. And the combo is very simple. It's a percentage price change 5-day of the security. I weighted that twice as heavily as I did the industry percentage price change for the group, because I'm looking for stocks that are strongly outperforming that group over the 5-day period. And let's see how this worked out. If I sort on roll combo, well, look what's at the top. VALE, that stock that was in my countertrend. I didn't know this. Now this was a buyout here, so we can't use it. But here's Nova Gold Resources. You can see up here using this relative strength chart that these stocks are starting to outperform. Let me make this. Now I don't like the looks of this gold stock whatsoever. It's way too choppy. I'd never consider it. Now Vail, I would consider. You can see that it is in a long-term fan trend. These have turned up compared to the NASDAQ and to the SPX, and compared to its current group, it's going up, so it's outperforming the group. And here's your pocket pivot. Remember, the pocket pivot was one of my requirements. Now you can see on Vail that the pocket pivots generated signals on both the 5 and the 10-day pocket pivot. Here is one, Sensata Technologies. It generated a pocket pivot on the 10-day, but not the 5-day. So here, this column is green because every one of these fans are up. Now look at this stock. Clearly outperforming both the NASDAQ and the SPX and its group because it's turned up. And look at these pocket pivots. This has generated, what did I say, 10-day pocket pivot only. So huge volume coming into this stock and clearly outperforming. Now I want to show you a neat little trick here. Some of you probably know about this, but others probably don't. I'm going to click on, I'm clicking up here. Let me do that again. This is the Choose Create view. Right here. I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to make a view from a filter. If you come over here and you click on this, you can locate the filter that you create and see that it's I didn't want to do that. Let me close that up. I'm clicking on the filter that I just created again, or recreated, and I'm going to apply this. I'll click on OK, and these fields that are in the filter are now in the warehouse view. So if I just bring up the warehouse view before I do anything to it, it's going to put Roundtable 1 behind it because I already have a Roundtable view. If I click on that, these are the fields which are in the filter. Now you're going to have to finish this off to make it really workable. If you scroll down to page 2 of the PDF, excuse me, I'm going to take a quick drink. You will see the fields that I showed you from the first view. So you can, excuse me, now I'm getting the hiccups. I shouldn't have taken that drink. So let's go ahead and, well, I don't need to go in and modify all these, but if you want to modify them, you just add those other fields. And this is what I ended up with. But what this allows you to do is get those filter fields in there and make sure that everything is what you want. And by looking at this, I can see that Vail, compared to the industry group 5 days ago, the industry is up 10.55%, but remember I wanted outperformance of 1%. So this is up 12.9% over that 5-day period. Now, most of that 12.9% came today. But the filter is doing its job. Now, this one was a buyout. Can't do much there. Nova Gold, I looked at it. Let's look down the list a little bit. Here's Delphi Automotive. Now, it is up 7.4% compared to the industry group being up 5.11%. And by the way, Fred, yesterday you asked which industry groups had a pocket pivot. The automotive group was one of the two that did. This group has been very strong the past few days. You can see that this stock is outperforming the NASDAQ, the SPX, and its current group because it is going up. Pocket pivots. It's had 3 days of pocket pivots. Just look at a few more here. Here's one that's up 10.8%. The group's up 2.45%. So by doing this, I am looking for stocks that are clearly outperforming their group over the past 5 days. Look at this. I mean, this thing is, this would have shown up back in here on this same, using this same filter. Because you can see, looking up here at the top, I'll put a crosshair on, you can see that it was outperforming its group considerably because these blue lines were all going up. It was outperforming the group here, but also outperforming the market, and the VPA flags were showing up. I didn't require VPA flags in this view. I didn't think it was necessary. But if you wanted to add a VPA component to that filter, now we don't know if it's going to be a positive or a negative VPA. No, Steve. Let me go back and look at that. I didn't even notice that. Thanks for picking it up. Let me finish this VPA thing, and then we'll go back to it. You could put a VPA signal equals yes, and that would cut it down to 113. But you don't know if the VPA is positive or negative. More than likely, it's going to be positive. You would have to put in all those VPA flags like I did in my VPA filter. So I'm just going to cancel out of that. Okay, so what was that symbol, Delphi? It wasn't Delphi. The flag was right here, formed right here on Delphi. Or was it another stock that I was looking at? Anyway, the flag right here on this day, it looks like right here on that day, the flag form, was it GBT? Okay, this flag is just getting into position now, so this would not have picked it up unless I eliminate that EMA fan. Now, that's a good point. You can go in and eliminate any field and experiment and see if it's picking up a bunch of other stocks. Let's just go ahead and do that. So why don't I duplicate this, edit it, see, you can do all kinds of fun stuff. Now we have 380 securities. This will be today, of course, but it's going to pick up. Well, I'm in the fan formations. I have to go to all securities now. 380 under all securities. So now you're going to, and let's go to my first view so I can see what industry groups we have in here. That's one of the columns that I added. So the fan formation does not have to be in place here, and I do have this column in here. Okay, what's going on here? Oh, I'm sorry. I need to go to my new filter. Okay. Now notice that 157 of these securities do not have a fan formation in place. Okay. So now this opens up another dimension. So we're looking for stocks that are meeting these requirements without the fan formation. So let's just, I'm going to sort on the percentage price change 5 days and go down to the first one, Seabridge Gold, that does not have a fan formation. Well, Chris, yeah, just review this. It's going to be over your head. But fortunately, I build most of this stuff for you. Now, this is another one of these gold stocks, which is really loose, which I don't care for. And here's another gold stock. Here's a natural resource stock that's outperformed its industry. But, you know, stocks like this, I don't even give them a second look. What's the point? You know, it's just, they're garbage stocks. Sure, they may tighten up and they may go, but that's why I put that fan requirement in there. So we know that we are looking at stocks that are trending. They may be loose. The loose ones I don't care much about. I always seem to lose money on those. Here's a specialty pharma. Now this one, is this a no? That's a yes. I'm sorry. Let's do it this way. I'm going to sort on the industry group. Well, here's a bunch of oil stocks. You know that these are probably beaten down because they don't have the positive fan formation. Bunch of REITs here. Okay, here's some semites. It's been a strong group. But here's Ambarella. We all know this stock. Now this stock is obviously not in an uptrend. And it is outperforming. Well, you can't tell it by looking up here, but it must meet the requirements. It was over a 5-day period, it's up 3.2%, and the group was up 1.78%. So it is meeting the requirements. But, you know, you can spend a lot of time, waste a lot of time looking at stocks like this. And, you know, they just, you're going to be wasting a lot of time. Let's take a look at Jazz Pharmaceutical. Now, Jazz, this has come way off the bottom here. And the fan is not yet formed because the yellow is not above the red, or the 100 is not above the 200. So now this is a much better chart as far as tightness. Notice how it tightened up. It shot up here, pulled back, but it stayed relatively tight, and it's consolidating, and it looks like it's trying to go again. pocket pivots. So, you know, you could do, why don't you experiment with both filters? Make one of each, and then you can see what's going on. But I'm going to go back to my original filter. And this is primarily where I will concentrate my efforts. Now you can also, of course, go in and use a spectrum analyzer and look and see which groups are the dominant groups. And it's integrated utilities. I mentioned that. We saw that when I was looking at the market analysis. They were the dominant group today. Semiconductor devices, auto parts, I said that that group has been very strong lately. Let's just go take a look at some of these stocks in the auto parts. Right here, there's about 8 of them, 6 or 8 of them. And they are all outperforming. The group has really moved up nicely, but these stocks are outperforming the group. Okay, now something else I want to mention. George reminded me today. Some of you were wondering about the warehouse columns that we have here. Well, you can put any one of these warehouse columns in a chart. And let me see if I can locate a chart to give you this information. I do not have any warehouse columns in here. Another thing that in this particular chart that I added, it's the 1A chart. I did not put the VPA information over here. To add that, it's very simple though. You just edit the current view and you find the price window and you locate the volume price analysis. Double click on that and select display VPA analysis in the upper corner of the chart window. And then this information appears here. I just forgot to turn that on, but you can do that yourself if you want to. It's nice to have this information for the trends, see how the trends are changing, and the volume information is changing. Just when I run this over or up and down the chart. So it's good to have it in there. Now let me see if I can locate a chart with that warehouse information in it. Okay, this is one right here. This is one of Gill's charts. Okay, I'll show you in a minute, Bill. This just happens to be a bar chart which Gill uses. I prefer candles. This is his chart, but I modified it because I put the VPA flags in here. He doesn't use the VPA because he's got a real great feel for stocks. But this is a warehouse view right here. These are fields that are available in the warehouse, and they can go in a chart also. So let's open this up. And it's in the price window, and it's the warehouse field. So if I edit this, you can see that it opens up the warehouse fields, and you can put anything you want over here. This is an intraday chart, so I just have intraday information in here. Now if I wanted to add some more intraday information, let's see, what do I have? I have the date, the time, the percentage change. I don't have the range. Yeah, I do have the range in here.
If you just said something, I didn't hear what it was.
Well, that's my phone talking to me. Oh, let's see, what do I want to put in here? Let's put the high, the low. I already have the last in here. If I close that, notice that this information is now added to this. So just if you want to add a warehouse or add warehouse fields to a chart, that's all you have to do. You just add the warehouse indicator. Do a search for the indicator. Add indicator, type in warehouse. It's under other warehouse field. This is something that we can work on in the future too if you need some help with that. But it's great to have this information in here right in front of you. Okay, now I'm going to go to a different chart. Okay, no, I don't want that one. I just want a plain chart here. Okay, you want to change it to a bar chart. First thing I'd do, I would choose Create View. I would duplicate it. I would edit it. I'm not going to keep this chart, but and then I would edit the view. You go to where the price is, and you change it from candlestick to open, high, low, close. And you'll want to compute the color from last close to current close, which is the way that bar charts usually work. And then you'll want to do the same on the volume. You want to change it last close to current close. That's pretty much the standard for the bar charts. And there it is. Now notice that these bars are pretty thin, Bill. So what I would do is I would edit the price, and I would go back in here and I would select the second bar. The volume is actually the third thickness, but that would be a little bit too thick. Now this is all a single color. If you want multiple colors, you edit the price and use multicolor. I'd probably change this to a blue for the same, and maybe a dark green. That's all there is to it. Pretty simple. If you prefer bar charts, though, that's the way to do it. Now I've gone nearly my hour, so do you have any questions about any of this? I want you to all to build that filter. And you may not have any use for that filter, and that's fine. I just use it as an example to show you how to get around the program, to get around building filters. But you can't mess anything up. If you want to experiment with a variation of that filter, just duplicate the filter and then change the fields around. Robert, the PDF is right down at the bottom there. You can click on that. You should, it says Roundtable March 15th. You see it? Well, it's there. Bill, I don't have time to do that. I'd have to add VFBs and so on. I'll have to do that some other time. Okay, good. Also, if you're a member of the Insider Club, I'll be sending this PDF out to everybody, or a link to it tonight. By the way, I want you to download the add-on again because I added those charts. And you will not get this filter or anything that I worked on today because it's not in there. It's in my user folder because I want you to do it yourself. Okay? Well, if that's it, let's call it a day. I'm surprised my voice held up. Thanks, Steve. And by the way, Pat, are you on? And everybody else, I am going to make sure that I save the MP4 video, and it will be linked to the insiders. Everybody else will have to watch it on YouTube if you want to watch it. Okay, thanks everybody, and I'll be talking to you soon. Thanks, Manu. Thanks, everybody. Okay, George, we can shut